Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I just wanted to show people how to upscale your games using the DuckStation PlayStation 1 emulator. If you just download the emulator right off the rip, I'll try to get a link to the GitHub page in the description if I can find it. But if I can't, you're on your own. No, I'm just kidding. I can give you a resource. Just hit me up on Twitter or something if you don't see it in the description. And yeah, if this helps you out, please like and subscribe to the channel. That would really help me out. So let's just fire up. What should we fire up here? Hold on. The weird sound. I don't know if that was coming from outside. All right, so we're going to fire up Star Ocean: The Second Story in lieu of the remake coming out soon. I apologize if this is a little loud. I'm just going to turn that down a little bit for now. And this is how the game looks with the upscalings. Let me get my controller plugged in here. Might not work because I don't know if I have Steam open in the background. Oh, there it goes. So we're to load up our file here. You can see the sprites. They don't look too bad. The text and everything does look a little bit weird. You'll notice. It's got kind of more of like a painted look. But it is much better than what it looks like alternatively. Just go into a battle real quick here.
There's the enemy. We can win this.
Mirror slide! Mirror slide!
Gravity shell.
Sword bomber!
Forget which buttons do what.
Mirror slide!
Okay, there you go. It's the bumper buttons to attack.
I'm glad we're okay. This is no big deal.
Okay, so let's go into the settings and check out what we got going on here so you know what you're doing. Let's turn it down a little bit while we're talking about the settings here. Let me just go over and double check. I don't remember what the defaults are. I'm going to go through all the settings just in case. I don't want to restore my defaults because it can be a pain in the ass to reset everything. I'm going to have to look into if I can save my like specific setting profile if need be. But if not, just go through the video on slow speed, pause where you need to, double check your settings here and there. If your game looks really bad compared to mine, then yeah, you're definitely going to want to change some stuff. So just going through, I don't think there's anything in here that you really need to change. For the most part, a lot of this stuff is basic. I don't have anything sped up. You can try to speed up the games and whatnot. I like to play them just basically at normal emulation speed, 100%. I highly suggest just leaving that. You can toy around with it if you want, but I personally wouldn't. I would just play them how they're meant to be played. But that's really up to you. Okay, so in the display, this one important thing to notice, or to note here, is the hardware renderer. You want to be on hardware, either Vulkan or DirectX 11, depending on what your computer can handle. I'm running off of my graphics card, obviously. I'm not actually running in the actual resolution that it says here, so just ignore that. That doesn't really matter. Linear upscaling on, everything else off. And this is just how the screen is going to look in the display here. You can stretch it and do all sorts of weird stuff with it. The way that I have it set is just a basic, how it was back in the day, 4:3 aspect. So it's not stretched, doing anything weird. Because you can obviously change that, but then it makes the game look a little weird. Internal resolution screenshots. If I take a screenshot, it would show it at the internal resolution. So I could use that for a comparison, but we're not going to do that. I don't know if the linear upscaling really does too much. It does add a little bit, a little tiny bit. Not really. None of this matters. On-screen display stuff just shows your like FPS and whatnot, the various settings of what's going on. So the enhancements, this is what matters. You can change some post-processing things as well if you want to, but that's just going to increase the amount of performance you need. So the internal resolution scale, this is one of the important things. You're either going to want to go anywhere between 3x to 5x. If this is down at like 2x, I think default, that's when the game's going to start looking worse. Anywhere over 3x starts to cause problems, though, and if it is, then you're going to want to dial it back. So what did I have for this game? I have 4x, I believe. For Xenogears, I had 3x. So it might change depending on the game that you're playing. But you're going to want a 4x internal resolution scaling. Texture filtering, you're going to put XBR very slow, or XBR no edge blending. I put on XBR very slow. Downsampling disabled. Scaled dithering you're going to have on. None of the other stuff on. You can toy around with some of that stuff if you really want to. If you mouse over, it's going to tell you what some of that stuff does. But if you're just looking for decent looking gameplay compared to what the default is, because the default's going to look terrible, trust me. You just want it to look good, upscaled slightly, then just stick with this stuff. Force a 4x3 for 24-bit display. Disable widescreen for FMVs. This is just going to keep it within the internal resolutions for what the game was meant to be played in. Chroma smoothing for 24-bit display. Reduce FMV. Color blockiness. This basically just improves the FMV quality a little bit, which is always good. They were not that great PS1 era, but it definitely does improve them a lot. Geometry correction, you went on. Let's see if I turn this off. It's going to recompile the shaders and stuff. But, yeah, geometry correction. What this is changing is, you might remember back in the day, PlayStation 1 games, some of the background textures were very curved and wobbly and weird. This straightens them out and makes them look the way they're supposed to be. Perspective correct textures, you need geometry correction on for that to work, but the same thing basically. It's going to interact with the textures in the background and across different geometries and make sure that they're straight and not curving around weird. Culling correction on this fixes some of the holes in some of the geometry that could have happened in the background, like maybe some bad clipping on like one of the mountains in the background or something. That fixes a little bit of that. And then yeah, preserve projection precision just says may improve visuals in some games, so I have that on. And I think that is about it. This, I think you might have to change something in here. Enable recompiler fast memory access, mmap hardware fastest 64-bit systems only. I think you might have to enable that, but they might have changed the system in such a way that it is not that way anymore. They have done some updates to DuckStation, including making it able to work with a Xbox controller, which is great. And yeah, some of the internal settings they may have improved to just come preloaded. So if you load up DuckStation and it comes with all this stuff preloaded like this, great. But if not, you might going to want to change it. So I don't know if you could really tell anything of the difference of the geometry correction within this scene right here. There's better examples of it in other games. You can see, okay, when I clicked it back on, you can see some of the wobbleness of the ground is straightened out a little bit. So, yeah, that's about it. Audio, you can toy around with certain settings. There was settings that I needed to toy with in Xenogears for certain attacks of an enemy, because it got some weird audio crackling and lag. Changing some of the latency latency made it so that sound effect was fixed, and this was actually a problem in the original PlayStation 1 in that game. So it's cool. Like, you're actually able to basically remaster the PlayStation 1 games to a certain degree yourself, and I think it's great. A great way to experience some old games that you may have missed out on. So, did I re-change my, did I put the thing back on? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. That is how you upscale games in DuckStation PlayStation 1 emulator. Again, like and subscribe if you like the video, if this helped out in any way. And, yeah, I'll try to link to the DuckStation PlayStation emulator down below. But yeah, hit me up on Twitter if you need help finding the emulator or anything else, whatever. My Twitter is on my YouTube. Now I'm just rambling at this point. So yeah, bye. Sorry for rambling. Bye.